Hey folks, I'm Alan, and this is the second part of a video series where I'm doing some live coding to create a personal tools server for myself to kind of manage some of the content and stuff that I do for making my website, making content in general. Uh, Yesterday, or last episode, or last whatever we left off, we have the basics going where there's a server that's live. So this is the Axum server that is running that is not behaving right now. Try that again. Um, Localhost, we're at 30, 35, 53. Forgot. Nope. I already forgot the port. 35, 35. Why is my L not working? There we go. 35, 35. Here we go. There's the thing. So we got a home page that's loading. This is running off this Axum Rust server. And then we can do a new bookmark. Brings us to a new bookmark page. If I hit submit, it's not actually doing anything, but we see the ping down here, which is the data that's coming through from this piece of text. So if I do here and hit submit, we should see ping here. What we're not doing yet is actually, so I'm redirecting to this page after we've made the loop. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and finish the way that we're doing this, which is using form post data, sending through a post to the server, which then sends back a redirect. And right now it's going to this new bookmark added page. What I want to actually have it do for this iteration is go back to the new bookmark page. But I want to put a piece of text on the new bookmark page that says, oh, I broke it. Oh, it's the route. Let's fix this. New bookmark added. So we're going to go to here. If we refresh this, what should happen now is if I do again or something, we see the text come down here. It clears the text in our form field because it actually sent the request to the server and the server redirected back to this page, and the page defaults just saying ping. So I want to do that same thing. We'll end up working with the data shortly, but the first thing I want to do is actually give an indication that this worked. I'm not going to get too far down that path because the way that I'm going to end up really doing this after thinking about it a little bit more is a more modern way to do this, basically, which is going to be using JSON to send back and forth. And there will only be basically JavaScript on the page that sends the request and receives the response, but all stays on the same page. That's a much more modern way to do things. But I want to have a way that works without JavaScript. I want to know how to do that, which is what we're doing here. And I want to finish that process so I can document it basically for myself, so that if I'm ever in a situation where I want to work on a thing and I do need to make sure that it works without JavaScript, I've got this kind of process lined up. For my personal tool server, it doesn't matter because I'm going to be running this on my machine. It's just for me. I'm going to have JavaScript enabled. Like, I know how the things work. I know how things connected. It'll be fine. But when I produce something potentially for larger audiences, I want to make sure that I've got the mechanisms to go through if somebody doesn't have JavaScript enabled to actually run through the cycle of doing some post and some response stuff. So we'll continue on that right now. I looked a little bit around yesterday or after the last recording, and I found this Axum Flash. So we're using Axum as the web server. Flash messages are a traditional name for a message that shows up one time. So one-time notifications, aka flash messages for Axum. And the idea basically is when we post something to when we post something through the server, when we hit the submit, again, we can do like, this is new. When I click submit, what I expect to happen is I'll see this is new down here, and this will revert to ping because it's actually reloading the page after bouncing through the post. So there's ping, so it reloaded, and there's the this is new. What I want to have happen is different behavior on this same page that gives me some type of flash message or some type of indication that the page worked. Because I want you to, and the real reason to do that, or the main reason I want to do that is, oh, let's go into bookmark added. I'm confused. Oh, I understand what's happening. I didn't change it in two places. we're actually going to get rid of bookmark added. So we can do that now. I'm just going to comment it for a second. And here we'll take this out. It's going to want the semicolon there probably. Because the URLs are important here. And the reason to go through this methodology is what we want to have happen is if I do, this is a new thing, which we should see this is a new thing show up down here. But the important thing is my URL didn't change here. And the reason that's important is because I want to make sure that if we bookmark something, it bookmarks the new page, the new creation page. What would have happened in the prior one, and we actually saw it just a second ago. If I put this back here, I'm actually going to leave that there so we can see the change. So I'm on the new bookmark page now. If we add new stuff, this is the new kind of response page. So it sent the request to the server, it did the post request, the server picked it up, did something with it, and then redirected to this new bookmark added page. I'm using the term bookmark here a little bit overloaded. Maybe I should call this quotes, but like, I don't want somebody in their browser to bookmark in their browser this particular page because they would be saving the page at the end of the process when really I want to make sure if they're going to save a page, it's going to be this one, or if they send it to somebody or whatever. Like we want to make sure that the URL is always this URL for anything that has to do with like the creation of a bookmark. So that's what we're going to work on now, is getting the flash messages to come in there. So I'm going to burn these again. I'm not going to take them new bookmark added. We want to just redirect back to the new bookmark page, and then we can take this back out again. So let's burn that and do this. And so we should be back to a point now where we're at new bookmark. Whoops. One previous error. What did we just missed here? New bookmark static route. Wait, why are you angry? Oh, new bookmark added. That needs to go away. And new bookmark post, new bookmark added. What? Oh, I commented the wrong one. Redirect to new bookmark. Make sure we're getting all these right. New bookmark added goes away. I'm going to leave this here because that's actually what we commented out. And this is going to new bookmark for the template. Save, see if we're better now. There we go, building, starting. So now we're at the new bookmark. And if we do anything here and hit enter, we see our data come through, but we're still back at the new bookmark page. So we're doing the cycle, we're coming back. That's where we want to start. Now what we want to do is set up a way to do the flash message. And so the flash message we can do, to start with, I'm just going to send down a notification that's basically saying it worked or it failed. Again, I'm not going to add all of the stuff in here that I would necessarily do, because what we'd want to do is like hit an error state. So if you hit an error, we want to send back an error to let you know what happened. Like you didn't provide all the information, or the server ate itself, who knows? Right now, I'm just going to send a signal back, a flash message. That's going to be the success message. So as long as I get that wiring all in place, I'm happy with basically the documentation that I can add in there for that. I don't need to go through and actually build all the rest of the parts of it. I just need like the top level wiring. So that's where we're going to move next. So let me go back to this for a second. We'll see how to do this. First thing we're going to want to do is add the crate. So I'm going to do that down here. Let's pop that a little bit. So we're going to do cargo add Axum flash. Let it do its thing. Now, one-time notifications, cool. Okay, so here is the basic thing. So we've got Axum coming in. So this wants us to do an app state, which we haven't been doing yet, because I'm not maintaining state inside the application, which I've got no problem maintaining state. We just haven't done it yet. I expect that there will be plenty of things that we want to maintain state for. So this is going to be the first one that we run through. I'm going to end up copying and pasting most of this probably in a second, but I want to kind of read through it first. So we're going to grab a struct that has an app state for us. And inside of that, we're going to have a flash config. App state, we're going to make a new app state instance from the struct with key generate. Axum flash config key generate. Where's key coming from? Okay, so that's Axum flash key. Got it. Our state type must be state type must implement this trait. That is how the config is passed to Axum flash in a type safe way. Okay, so we're going to do from ref app state for Axum flash config from ref, all this stuff. I don't totally understand that. So it's passing a app state in and then returns a config that has the state cloned into it. Okay, that kind of makes sense. And here we go. Here's our router set up, which we already have this up here. Whoops. Let's start this again. Start and bring us up here. So here's our same router stuff. So here's app router route, which is all this. And then we do with state, app state. Okay, cool. This is going to do root flashes, incoming flashes, set flash. Flashes must be returned so the cookie is removed. Got it. Okay, this looks pretty straightforward. We should be able to hopefully just kind of copy and paste a bunch of this stuff in and have it run. Let's start with this line, which is going to be pulling in our crate stuff. And I've got warnings off right now for unused stuff, so it's not going to yell at us right now for that. Then what we want to do is we're going to make the app state, which we'll just put up here. So that should pass. And then app state, we're going to make one here. Wait, that probably needs to go inside main. This is something that I don't like about some of the tutorials, because I think this needs to be in main, right? We can't just do this out in the middle of nowhere, right? Let cannot be used for, consider using static or const in front of things, which really what we want to do is move this into here. And that's one of my, I really like a bunch of the Rust documentation. Like most of the Rust documentation ecosystem is fantastic. That's one that gets me a little bit, because I can't literally copy and paste this and have it work. Because, and also it's a little bit weird to me that you have this let here and this let here for that's doing the app. Like this stuff isn't in main. This isn't in main. This needs to be in main. And like maybe there's ways that I'm not understanding it doesn't need to be, but like for me, for making this thing, it doesn't, like if I copy and paste this outside of the main function, it breaks. So I'm less of a fan of that. That was one of the things that took me a little while to get my head around in Rust, is looking at the docs and understanding when they don't show you stuff in main. Sometimes it actually is. Sometimes the docs show you that, and it's super nice because you can literally just copy and paste a chunk of code and it works. This, you have to do a little bit of thinking and like, hey, you have to know a little bit about it, which is not ideal, but once you learn it, that's just the way it is. All right, so we've got our app state in there. Now this impl function is going to go here. That goes outside. And that's calling from ref, which I don't think we have yet. Axum extract from ref. Use Axum extract from ref. I'll consolidate all those at some point, but right now it's fine. The impl. So now we have our routes. Question is, can I just do with app state at the end of this? Where's my route? Oh, I should have done. Well, I'll do it in a second. Is actually remove those commented sections. Here's app state, here's app, here's routes. Oh yeah, we definitely want to do this because it's definitely dragging us out. So do this, undo. We'll do it here. Delete that, save that. Cool. Okay. So let's I'm gonna burn these for a second and just get them all the way out of there, like they're in the repo if we need them. That's just the prior bookmark stuff that we're getting rid of. Like we literally just got rid of it. Now, I'm gonna take that line out because that's just a comment from the docs. Cool. So this is doing the thing. Now let's figure out how to use it. So flashes is incoming flashes on Git. And this is set flashes, which is flash to flash. And this is where I don't totally understand how this works. Because right now I'm not sending like the, where am I going? What's this doing here? Bookmark. Let's move you up so that all my structs are up here. Eventually we'll move that to its own file, I think. But for now, it's going to be there. But like if I look here at this, like we've got git root and we've got new bookmark, which are two things, a new bookmark and new bookmark post. So for new bookmark, this is going to be the receiver of the flash, which is going to be flashes, incoming flashes. So the thing is, if I do this, oh, it's returning HTML static. What's that going to do? Exploded. Okay, cool. I have something in my eye, by the way. It's kind of messing with me. Get top level handler, cargo tree. Let's see what all this stuff says. My guess is unsatisfied trait, new bookmark. So I think what we're going to want to do, I'm going to comment this out for a second, and we're going to do this. Root incoming flashes. We're returning incoming flashes and see if that makes us happy, but we're not returning that. The flashes must be returned so the cookie is removed. For level text, flash and flashes. So this isn't showing me. So set, yeah, here, this is actually perfect. This is what we want to have happen here is this set flash, and then we're doing our redirect. So that's perfect because that's going to be our post, which is right here. Right here's that redirect. So now we just got to figure out how to do this. Incoming flashes, flashes. So if I just do this, what happens? I think that's going to compile. Nope. Did it compile a second ago? No, it didn't. It couldn't have. All right, new bookmark. Get new bookmark. Set flash. So this is the same thing as root, is basically what we're doing here. If I temporarily take away the post, does it get happy? No. All right, unsatisfied trait bound, required by a bound call by this call. The trait handler is not implemented for function new bookmark. Consider using Axum debug handler to improve error messaging. Okay, we'll do that. Is that going to copy? Nope. Where is... I actually don't know where to add that. Is that on main? Oops. Axum. Debug handler. Is that going to work? Debug handler not found in Axum. Okay, whatever. We're not going to worry about that right now. Oh, maybe you have to load that. Oh, wait, it probably just told me that, didn't it? Stand by. Undo that. Save that. We'll see if we can get this running in here. Could not find debug handler. Pub use macros. Axum macros. We have to turn on feature macros. I'm cool with that. So we're going to go here. We're going to go into Axum. And we're going to do, we need to make this go version equals. And then, oh, you can just do feature macros there. Config feature macros. I don't actually know how that works. If I do that, does it get happy? It's doing something different. Result, anyhow. Anyhow error is not a future. Okay, it didn't like that. Close that. All right, I'm not going to mess with it. I'll dig into that at some other point. I was just going to see if we could get better debug messages, but that's not doing the thing right now, so we're not going to worry about it. Yes, unsatisfied trait bound. Required by a bound introduced by this call. The trait handler is not implemented for the function there. Consider using Axum debug handler to approve a message. We're not going to work on that. Note, there are multiple different versions of the create Axum in the dependency graph. Oh, interesting. This is the required trait. Axum form. One version of the Axum used here as a direct dependency of the current crate. Axum flash. One version of the Axum used here as a dependency of Axum extra. Oh. You can use cargo tree to explore the dependency tree required by the bound. Let me see. So we're doing all this Axum stuff. That's gonna explode because we need to have form in there. Yeah. Okay. I am hitting new stuff I haven't seen before. Let's go back to the docs for a minute here. So this is doing get root. I don't understand this yet. Let's pull this. And we're going to make a new root here. We're going to call this root 2. And we're just going to leave all this exact same stuff in here. And up here, I'm going to take out those. And we're going to call root 2 here and just see what happens. Nothing happened. It exploded. Root 2, unsatisfied trait. At least it's consistent. Okay, that's good. But how is this code working then? Redirect a slash. Yeah, how is this working? Because for us, it's root 2 here, but that should be... Am I missing a dependency? Hang on. I might be missing a dependency. We don't have into response, do we? We don't. Axum response, into response. right? Response, redirect. I'm guessing this is it. Into response. See if that clears it. Nope. Still getting undefined. Trait is not implemented for the function incoming flash. Consider using debug. There are multiple different versions of the create Axum on the dependency graph. That is what I don't understand, why that's happening. Because we've got to have Axum flash in there. Extract from ref. Do we have that yet? Extract from ref. We've got that. We've got routing get. We don't have routing get. Yeah, we do. Routing get and router. That was a straight copy. Let me pull this for a second. Let's see what the unused gives us. Okay, so into response we aren't using, and request we aren't using. Include those. Flash we're not using at the moment. Let's do this. That could work. Just make it like unused variable level. Text is not satisfied. Yeah, so it's still just on the same error. One version of the crate Axum is used here as a direct dependency of the current crate. One version of the crate Axum used here is a dependency of Axum extra. Oh, 0.79. Pub crate. This is the founder trait. You can use cargo tree to explore your dependency tree. Required by a bound and Axum routing get. That's 8.4. So is this... This would be funny. Where's Axum? No, 8.4. This is 8.0. Excuse me. Cargo tree. I've never used this command before. Axum extra calls Axum 7.9. Can we not use this? Because here's Axum flash, which is 0.8, which is, we literally just did that one. So that's the most recent one. And then this one, where was it? It's way back up here. Axum macros. Axum version 0.84. I don't know enough about this, but that certainly seems like dependencies. Axum core 07 from 2023. This might be too old. Two years ago, hasn't been touched. More information on the crate documentation. I don't think this works. That's a bummer. Okay. Yeah, even though it's 0.8, it's looking for Axum 0.7.9 issues. Error on the trait config, not satisfied. Seeing any concession behavior. Yeah, these are still from a long time ago. Pull requests. Upgrade to Axum V8. I've been wanting to upgrade to Axum V8, but the incompatibility with Axum Flash is in the way. Could you take a look at this? Thanks for the fix. Could be published. Thanks. Would love to hear. Would love to but I can write this or publish permission to create IO package. So it's stuck in limbo until the maintainer gets to it. No conflicts with this branch. Yeah. Okay. So new thing that I've learned, or that's a new error for me, is seeing something that tries to use two different versions of the same thing because it's locked as a dependency, which makes sense, but that sucks because that means I can't use that. Okay, cool. We will do something else. Maybe we just go straight JSON and don't worry about this. But I do want to do that. So let's get all the Axum Flash stuff out of here. We can burn that for now. We can burn this for now. App state we can get rid of. We can get, oops, this is going to come back to that, and this will get back to this. We're not doing state anymore. We're going to need a semicolon here. Get rid of that for a second. And down here, we can burn this to incoming flashes. This just goes back to nothing and HTML. Get rid of the flashes, pull the HTML back. I could have just like get reset basically, but it's not that far off, hopefully. Toolshed 1, oh, type. What was the type? Content. Who remembers? Git remembers. Toolshed. Man, what was it? Again, I could just reset it, but why not? Actually looking through tab. Git looks for a... I kind of like retype, like I kind of like typing stuff so that I can put it in my head what it is. So it's taking one of these. Whoops. It was ampersand back static str save. Nope. That's because it's in the wrong thing. There we go. Okay, we're back to where we were basically. So if I click this, it explodes. Look like there's a problem on the site. Rip, come here. Resend, post. It's all broken. There's the homepage. Did I leave post in here or did I take post out? No, yeah, here's the post. We're not sending the post. Now, how about now? Boop. Boop. There's that. Okay, cool. That's a bummer. Axum flash message. This is the one we were just on, which does not work. One-time notifications. Axum messages. Last year, 9 months ago. Okay, cool. Axum messages. One-time notification messages for Axum. This crate provides one-time notification messages or flash messages for Axum applications. La 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 la. It's built on Tower Sessions, so applications that already use Tower Sessions can use this crate minimal setup. For an implementation that uses Axum extras cookies, please see Axum Flash, which is not what we have, that's the one that's broken. 2 years ago, yeah. So I looked at messages briefly and it said to go to Axum Flash, so I went to that. Axum Messages borrows from that crate, but simplifies the API by delivering Tower Sessions. Cargo tunnel file. Socket address. Axum messages. Set message handler. Info. Debug. Redirect to read messages. Read messages handler. Into response. Messages iter. Messages not empty. No messages yet. Messages. Session store. Set messages handler, read messages handler, layer, messages manage layer. This crate uses forbid unsafe code to ensure everything is implemented on to right. Okay, cool. Rust, cool. Take the number of examples. WD started. That's literally the same code. I don't know if they did a number of examples. They did a example, but I appreciate that. Messages manager layer, which is here. Tower sessions, memory store, sessions manager layer. That's interesting. Rust tower sessions. So let's look at that for a second too. This creates provides sessions key value pairs associated with site visitors tower middleware. It offers pluggable storage backends. Run your own backend simply by implementing session store. Minimal overhead. An Axum extractor for session. That's cool. Simple key value interface. I'm going to take a quick Rust rocket. So there's a few other engines out there. And I've been working with Axum because I've messed around with Axum before. But I want to take a brief look at Rocket. Because I've only ever used Axum. Macro use extern crate. I'm not like, I thought that was old syntax. Syntax. Whatever. May 2024. Year and a half old. That's fine. Forms check. Form handling is simple, declarative, and compare and complete. Derive from form for your structure and set the data parameter for the form type. Rocket automatically parses and validates the data from your structure and calls your function. File up. Yeah, see. I don't know. This feels just like slightly too magic for me. Like, it's all doing the thing and we can go look at all the thing, but like, I don't know. I kind of want to dig down a little bit more and into like this level of it so I can really kind of understand what's happening with the individual pieces, like really kind of like fine tune into it. And I'm not doing anything super complicated, but like it feels like Axum. What was the last Rust Axum? When was the last update for Axum? Three days ago, right? So it's Rust Rocket. This is probably still being updated or whatever. Yeah, last year, 2 years ago. Also, it's an async web framework. Like, does that mean that, I don't know, yeah, we're going to go with Axum. Okay, I just wanted to take a look at it. And the reason I'm questioning about the async is like, does that mean that it only works if you have JavaScript on your front end because it's doing async stuff magically in the back or like magically to connect them, and you have to have JavaScript? Because I don't want JavaScript to be required. Again, this doesn't matter for this particular project, but I want to make sure that I have the capability of, like, I don't want to spend time building something that requires JavaScript because there are going to be times later when I want to like do stuff that doesn't require JavaScript. And I don't know if that's what that is saying, but it's also, also, this is not super helpful. Last year, tell me, like, last year is a pretty big time period. Like, is that 365 days ago? If it was January, would it also say last year? Like, that doesn't help me really. What I want is a date. But whatever, we're not going to use, this is probably when it was, May 2024. Okay, cool. Little sidetrack. That's fine. Axum, we're in. Tower sessions. Okay, so let's try this messages? Where'd it go? Axum message. So when was this last updated? Hang on. Did we look at that? Axum message. 9 months ago. Okay, that's fine. Change log. Tower session 14. What is this on? Tower sessions 14. That's a good sign. Where am I going? Here. Cool. Okay, so let's do this. We can just add that dependency the way that they're talking about doing it. So this is going to be Axum messages 070 and Axum messages 070. Close that. That should just load in. We haven't done anything yet, so I'd be surprised if that fails. We've got all of our same things in here. Now we want to do, like, this is actually cool because this is showing me how to, like, potentially how to use the memory storage and the session manager there. So, like, that's going to be potentially very helpful because we're going to want to have sessions, and that's likely going to be the way that we do them. Struct bookmark, use string URL. Why is that? Oh, because I'm not actually using it yet. Yeah, I'm going to turn this unused back on for a second. Allow unused, save. Add those in there. We're going to need tower sessions. Yeah. So let's do cargo add tower sessions and see. See, that's one thing that always throws me a little bit. It's like these, like, again, with this example, for the example code, like, this may be all you need for Axum messages, but, like, if your example code says you need this, and I guess if it needs Axum, whatever, it's fine. But, like, I get obviously a little frustrated when it's like, it feels like I should be able to copy and paste this, but if I just did this in my cargo toml file, that wouldn't actually work. So, like, show me an example. Like if this is all I need, that's fine. But then say, for this example, you need to have these in your cargo dependency or your cargo toml, whatever. So start this back up. That's pulling in tower sessions. Cool. Get rid of that for a second. Pull this down and down here. So async send messages handler. So this is showing into response, which is cool. So this is going to be our new bookmark post. Oh, shit. How do you do two things? Because I need to send the form data in here. Can we just do that? No. Which I'm not super surprised about. Unsatisfied trait bound. Handler's not satisfied. It's not implemented for function. Messages. What happens if we take that out and then we take this out because we don't have the bookmark yet? Still pissed. Okay, let's return not a redirect. I realize this code is kind of all over the place at the moment, or like hard to read. We'll clean it up once we see things happening. Maybe. Save. Into response. Response into response. So there's this. No. Unsatisfied trait bound. Unsatisfied trait bound. Oh, this is doing a get, isn't it? In the example. Yeah, these are both get calls. Oh, we also don't have this. Does that matter? Probably matters. Maybe. I don't know. You go here like that. Session layer. Oh, we didn't add any of this shit. I don't expect that to fix it, but I just want to make sure I've got all the stuff in there. Handler's not implemented for function message, new bookmark post. Consider Axum to do thing. The following other types implement layered method router. Chain handler post. So I don't totally understand what's happening here. Clearly. Let's do this just so we can clear it up a little bit. I'm gonna do this and we're gonna make that one go away for a second just so we can see literally the only things we're looking at. New bookmark post. Unsatisfied trait bounds. Required a bound introduced by this call. The trait handler is not implemented for function message. Handler. I don't totally know what that is, but I think let's go back. Let's get to green again or working again, whatever. New bookmark post. Wait. What just happened? What is this? Oh, yeah, I don't comment all those. Comment that, uncomment this. And then this is going to be our original. So that should work again. Didn't work. Looks like there's a problem with the site. Refresh, resend. Didn't work. Okay, let's get back to working. New bookmark post. Why isn't it working? Hang on. I'm confused. Starting. Redirect to new bookmark. Template. Backup. Go to the homepage. Looks like there's a problem with the site. Whoa. Okay. Message manage layer. Interesting. Why? This has into make service. Interesting. Let's look at that in the Axum docs for a second. Rust Axum into make service. Service. Into make service. Into make service router, right? Which is what we're on. app. So here's, yeah, app is a router new. Okay, so we're in router. Converts this router to make service. That is a service whose response is another service. Get router, route, async high. App serve. I don't see into make service in here. Like I'm not seeing it in the example. Seems weird. Into make service and make service, into make service new self with state. Call router with state such that everything is turned into a route eagerly rather than doing it per request. Okay. Let's just put that on there and see what happens. I'm going to turn this on. I expect this is going to break. I don't totally understand what's happening here. I think this is going to break. Nope. Oh, wait. That didn't work. Now, if we do into make service, it compiles, doesn't come back. I'm confused. Which one was it? Axum Flash, that doesn't work. Where did our, this one? Yeah. Why is this different? Let's run this. I want to make a new, like a full new thing here for a second. Desktop, whoops, desktop, right? I want to understand what's happening here. So make dir, Axum message test cd. I don't care that I spelled it wrong. Cargo init. And then we want to do cargo add Axum, cargo add Axum messages. Let's actually see the example here for a second. Example. You can find this example in the examples directory, right? So if I go up a directory, do I see a cargo toml here for this? Axum core, tower sessions, tracing. These are the dependencies, dev dependencies. Yeah, here's all the Tokyo stuff that we're going to want. Cargo add Tokyo features equals, I think I can just do macros. I'm just going to copy paste that. Does that work? That probably needs to be in quotes, right? Invalid character equals. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. How about now? There we go. Okay. Yeah, there's macros and there's RT multi-thread. Got it. So let's just see if we can get this to, like, I just want to copy and paste this example and see if we can get this to run, just to make sure that it runs. Here's our examples. Here's our basic example. We're going to add Axum. We're going to add all these things. We need tower sessions. Cargo add tower sessions. And then let's do this for a second. Oops, wrong way. Let's just copy and paste this entire thing. I'm probably still gonna get some errors, but I want to see this. I want to see this go. What was the port number that we did here? 3000. 3434. And then if we do cargo watch C X run. So C clears it, X just executes the run. So whenever we make changes, it'll fire. Running. Okay, so Firefox, localhost 3434. Hello world, this is a debug message. It's working. Cool. Now, so let's start from this and figure out how to add post into this then. So this does the setting. So when we go to the root, it calls get session message handler, which is session message handler, which does a redirect to read messages, which is this, after setting those. And then that goes to the read messages handler, because here's this, which does this and then prints the stuff out. No messages yet. So if I refresh this, no messages yet. Yeah, okay, cool. But if I go back to the home page, info. Okay, cool. Interesting. So this is giving me stuff. I like this. This is cool. Let's go see how we add a post in here. Router get. Wait a minute. Does this have post in it? Whatever. Routing get. Surely it doesn't. It isn't that we need to do routing post. That's going to be silly. I don't expect this to work. Like the server still wasn't firing. Okay, well, at least know the full example works. So now we can go back and look at our code for a second and see what's different. So this should work again because we took the rest of that stuff out. So that's cool. So why does it not work when we add these layers in? Turn these back on. Oops, we want to have a semicolon there for sure. Starting. Refresh. See, there's a problem. Internal server error. This could be this temporary unavailable or too busy. Try again in a few moments. New bookmark root. Debug X. Are we hitting it? No, it's not even hitting it. So it's not hitting the root call. We've got those in there, right? The Axum message stuff, like we have to, right? Otherwise it would yell at us. Yeah, cool. So those are in there. Into response and redirect. We've got both of those, into response and redirect. So here, but why is it not serving the home page? approach. What's different here? App router new, route, layer, route, layer. And then we get the socket. This is going over a slightly different way to call the socket. That's just making the address. That's the same because it's a TPC listener, right? TPC listener bind. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just doing it slightly different. Await unwrap. Serve await unwrap. Listener. The only difference I see is this into make service. Into make service. Save. But it still doesn't. I'm very confused by this. New bookmark post. Wait, new bookmark post. Oh, yeah. Sorry. That's the other one. I'm going to move this down for a second just so it's at the end of it. What is happening? I don't understand what the difference is. This has the post call in it. Surely that's not the problem. Nope. Whoa, I'm at a loss. I do not see differences here. We're not returning a result, but that should not matter in the least. We're getting the starting call. See, we're there. And if we do this, we should see alpha fire and then the server starts, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're right here. What is the difference? These are going into response. So this is set message handler. So let's do this as root 2. And we call root 2 here. Nope. Kaboom. Unsatisfied trade bounds. Interesting. Top level handle function. Get. Okay, why is that different? Oh, I'm not passing message. No, we just copied and pasted this whole function. Right? That's this. We just called it root 2. What is happening? I'm not messing with that one right now. We're just going to take all this out and do it one line at a time until we see what's happening. So that's going to go away. Now what happens? We don't have those functions. Oh, we need socket address. Okay. Use Tokyo Net Unix. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Cool. Got it. Read message handler. So that's not there. I want to take that out for a second. Read messages. I'm just going to leave that there for a second. We're going to take this one out for a second, and we're going to go look for root 2. Actually, set, right? So this is root 2. Take it back. We are not going to do that. Set message handler, async function, implement end response. So you come over here, close that. You come down here, paste that, set message handler. And then we're just going to do this right here. What is happening? Router response. Router response. These should yell at us, right? Because those two we've got. So there's those. And then there's get. And then router should be duplicated up here somewhere too, right? Router right there. Okay, so all this, like all those things are in. Wow, I'm confused. They don't have to be defined first, right? There's no way. No, okay. Didn't think so. Unsatisfied trait bound. I still don't totally understand what that means. The trait handler is not implemented for functions. But I copied and pasted the code from the other place. Why is that not working? Okay, we are going to try this a different way. We are going to slowly but surely copy and paste. Wait a minute. Axum 084. Axum messages. Features macros. What is there a difference here? Axum 084. Axum 084. This has features macros on it. It doesn't seem like adding a feature would have a problem. Messages 7. Messages 8. Rip. Yay, troubleshooting. Save that. Roll this. Already in use. Okay. Okay. Delete that. Delete that. uncomment. Whoops. Let's do this. I need to see a little bit more space here. So here is our thing. Root 2. We're just going to go root. Those are all the things. That's really frustrating. That's really frustrating. We're going to open a PR about that if that is really what's happening here, and I think it might be. We'll test it and verify. Whatever. Save this for a second. See what happens. Alpha, Firefox. Close that. Refresh. There's our page. That's a bummer. That is a bummer. Okay. So there's root, which we have root, which we're showing. Now, let's put these back in place slowly but surely. Let's do this. Starting to add Axum messages. So we want to add our new bookmark with this, like that. And I don't think we do have new bookmark in here. So this should work. This is a post request, which is going to go to this, which needs to be that. New bookmark post, which is this. So go. Failed to deserialize body, missing field URL. Form, new bookmark post. Okay. Failed to deserialize body. Let's see if this just does a redirect for us. Redirect 2. Why did that not work? Oh, because there's no. We need a. That. Nope. That. I stand corrected. Why is it? Oh, that sucks. Okay, Rust format. You goofed this one time. I need that parentheses to be okay. But it moves it to that line, which is after this comment, which means it doesn't work. That's a goof on Rust format. Refresh, resend. What happens? New bookmark, ping. Okay. So it's going to the post and we're just doing the redirect. Got it. Let's call it bouncing through redirect. Bouncing. Through redirect. Okay. Now over here, frustrating. Like we knew there had to be a difference. I was looking for the difference in the code. The difference was because I did this version as cargo add the thing, which gave me version 8 versus literally copying from the documentation that said, wherever it was, put this in your cargo file. I did. That wasn't right. So here on the set messages, this is really what we want. So this is sending messages into response. Actually, we can just do that full line. Right, so new post, where's root? We're gonna actually we're gonna do this. We're gonna make a new root. And here, no, we don't want to do root. What's wrong? You stay there. New bookmark post. This is the one we want to do. Oops. And this is where we want to do this. Oops. Right, we're taking messages into response redirect, but we're not going to do that. Okay, there we go. So I think that should still give us the same behavior, right? Yeah, cool. And let's just do this to do debug. So now we should see that every time we hit the button, right? Boop, there it is. Boop, there it is. Cool. But this is not giving us our form data. So the question is, can we also get the form data here? I don't know how this works. Like, this is where I don't understand how the signature stuff works. If this works, I'm going to be surprised. It would be awesome. That might be awesome. Are we getting the bookmark coming in? I really should call this quote just because bookmark is another term I'm using for things. Failed to deserialize form body, missing field URL. If I put that first, no. It explodes. That at least makes sense. If I do this, that's going to work, right? Failed to deserialize URL. Missing field underscore. Oh, no. This is why I leave this allow unused in here, is because it was giving me a warning, so I took that out because of that warning. I mean, it may still be broken, but like there's an issue there. All right, let's look at this again. Now, if we do this, what happens? So this should work. Cool. There's our ping. There's our data again. Now, if I put this first, it compiles. If I add some stuff here, it sends it, and it looked like it did the redirect. So, do we have message here? Debug messages. You know, what's super funny is like, I'm not actually going to be using this approach. Probably. I don't know, maybe. No, I'm going to be using JSON stuff to go back and forth so we don't have to do this bounce and the redirect stuff. Maybe, probably. I don't know. Maybe we'll do this to start with. We'll see what happens. I do like the idea of sending JSON payloads back and forth just because it's a little bit easier to like deal with stuff because it's actually formatting all the data for you instead of you having to like reassemble stuff. And you can send and serialize and deserialize and all the things, but whatever. Messages. Boom. Cool. Cool. So, okay, where are we? On our post, our post isn't really where we want to have our messages, though. We want to set our messages on the... Oh, no. Okay, that's right. Messages, info, and then do the redirect. So this is on the post. Messages. Interesting. So this is actually getting like to a storage because like I'm setting it here, but it's going back up. I don't totally understand the mechanics of that, but the real question is, does that work? we're not going to see anything yet. Where we're going to see stuff is here. So this is going to be, this is calling new bookmark. And what we want to do is new bookmark is read, which is this. So I'm going to pull this. If message known to string into response. I think I can actually, I think I don't have to do into response. This is going to be a check to see if I understand this. So I should be able to put messages here. We're still going to do HTML. So this should still compile and work, right? Yeah. Cool. And then when we've got this, if I debug the messages here, messages, plural, we should see our messages pop up when we hit this button. Like that. This is a debug message. Awesome. Cool. Okay. Now, messages equals messages dot into iter map format. If messages is empty, join on the thing. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out if I want to get to the mini Genja level at this yet. I don't think I actually want to yet, because what we really want to do is put a template in and have the template be like, there should be a spot in the template where you put messages if they show up, and if they're there, they're there, and if they're not, they're not. Do we want to go ahead and do that now? And really what I'm trying to think through is like, this is really going to be like what I'm working on effectively now is the first copy for my example of like the really refined version of the code to go look at that. And I think I do want to have the full thing happening there. So I think we are going to go ahead and add the mini Genja stuff in here in a second. Let's just make sure we're getting it though to start with. So here, into iter, map messages format. What's the best way? Into iter. So that goes into iter. If this is a messages, let's go look at, see what the data type is here for a second. How do I get to the actual like doc site? I'm assuming it's going to show up here in a second, just like that. Hello world messages. Yeah, this is the same thing. Okay. Yeah, 8.0. Super handy. If I were a messages, where would I be? Structs? Messages. An extractor which holds the state of messages, using the session to ensure messages are persistent between requests. That's cool. Right, because that's what we're sending in right here. Debug, info, push an info message. Right, so these add the things. Debug with metadata. Info with metadata. Cool. Push len. Returns the number of messages to be read. Love it. I almost guessed this just to see what was up. Debug messages len. Is that gonna work? Didn't like it. Oh, it's because there's no S there. Let's save that. Try that now. Because what I'm hoping we see is a 1. Or a 2, right? Because we're sending 2 messages. Okay, cool. This gives us the way to do the messages. So all I'm going to do for right now to start with is this. Let's open this up. And we're going to do new bookmark message temp HTML. And we'll just copy this from here, and we'll do this, and we'll do div whatever message goes here. Save that. And over here, just close those both for a second. What we want to do is if that's calling, this is just going to return a U size. So I think I don't need to call it as a reference. Length is greater than 0. We want to do, let's do this. This is a little bit hacky. There's probably better ways to do this. Content messages. Can I shadow that actually? I'm not really sure how these include strings work. I'm not gonna worry about it. Content start, content empty. These are all temporary things. I'm not like really worried about this. And content message. And this goes to message temp, right? So that just loads those. The include string, I don't really know how you do it in if statements or whatever. I'm not going to worry about that right now. But here what we want to do is if this, we're going to burn that in here. We're going to do this. We can take this out. We can put an else here. And we can do this, this, this. This becomes content. If the length is greater than 0, so this would be empty. And this would be message. Save. Fire. All right. So if I refresh this page right now, we're just getting the same page. If I submit, we should see our message pop up. That's pretty awesome. I like that a lot. So this is going to be passing flash message. And then what we want to do is I want to load mini Jinja is really what I want to do. Which is like, it's super weird because it feels like that's a lot of heavy lifting. Like it feels like I should have, I'm already trying to like prematurely optimize basically because it feels like I should have the mini Jinja engine open and then call into this, but like I'm just going to put it directly in this thing. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to serve these files that way. And then that'll probably wrap this one. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to stop this one here because this is in a pretty good place. We're passing our data. We're getting our messages coming back in. We're not doing anything with the data yet, but we're there. And then next time what we can do is start adding the template engine in. Because I want the template engine in general. So it's fine that we add it in. And it'll also be helpful for this as I consolidate this down. Because this will become a single, like what we've done now will become a single example that I like put as a single example, like really concise all by itself. So that if anybody else is messing with this stuff, you can just look at that example and have the code and be ready to go. And you don't have to like go through all the rigmarole of figuring this out that we did. But yeah, so I think this is in pretty good shape for now. We're doing that. Our homepage should still work. Let's just verify this really quick. Homepage, new bookmark, ping. Oh. It's not there yet. We need to make the messages go away. Okay, that'll be for next time. Is we have to make that disappear because we're not clearing the messages. We set them. Is empty clone. Length push success warning. Messages. Where is... We're going to look really quick because this may be... is empty. That's how messages. Oh. How do we unset it? We are going to go on this. I want to clear that message. I want to finish this little piece first. This library, while compact and straightforward, benefits from an understanding of its design and integration with core web apps, fundamentals HTTP. Messages in this library are written during one HTTP request and are accessible only in subsequent requests. The lifecycle management is handled temporarily by the library or transparently by the library, ensuring simplicity for the consuming application. That's great. That's exactly what I want. Actually, I don't even know how it's doing it. I'm assuming it like there has to be a cookie, right? Because it's stateless coming across. At first glance, this approach might seem to limit functionality. If messages are delayed until the next request, how does this not result in lost presentation state during user interactions? This is where the state management capabilities of HTTP sessions come into play. Yeah, so it's a session cookie. Use of sessions for state management. HTTP is a stateless protocol, but managing state over HTTP is a long-solved problem with various effective solutions, sessions being one of the most prominent. This library leverages sessions to maintain state. Awesome. Allowing messages to persist between requests without affecting the continuity of the user experience. Sessions can handle complex state scenarios, and when used in conjunction with HTTP, they provide a robust foundation for modern feature web applications. Yeah, the library slots naturally into this well-established paradigm, etc. Yeah, so this is like, you can think about it in two different categories of things. Category one, which is what we're looking on here, is you have a page, you send something, and then another page is formed. The other way is you have a single page that sends to the server and comes back to the same page, which is more, that's kind of what I see in more like modern apps or whatever. I don't know. I did that in quotes, even though it's probably appropriate. But like, I like having this approach as a baseline, and then we can work on the other approach later. It's better to slow the, so I understand this. What I do need to know though is how you clear container for a message, which provides the level, an extractor which holds the state of messages, using the session to assert messages or specific requests. Message is manager. Level metadata. What's message manager? Clone from format. Let's see if we have anything in here that looks like somehow you have to be able to remove the messages. And that's not clear in the example. Message, level structure string, right? Container for a message. So it's in this messages. Debug error info is empty length push. Success warning. How do we an extractor which holds the state of messages, using the session to ensure messages are persisted between requests. Debug error info. See success. These are all the. See, because this has push a message with a given level. So here it's just doing this info and debug. But because push and because it's doing an into iter, it makes me think maybe we can pop stuff off of it. Clone from parts, next chunk, count, last. These are all the iter stuff. So is there a empty or truncate or skip, take actually pulls stuff, creates an iterator that yields the first n or fewer than the length iterator. Yeah, scan, flat map, fuse, inspect, by ref, collect, partition, try fold, reduce. Which further we gotta go? I'm not seeing a scroll bar. Find map. I just learned about any the other day, which is kind of cool. Like it gives you a Boolean if any of the things match. It's kind of neat. Try find position, max by keys, max by min, unzip copied, clone, cycle, array chunk, sum, partial compare, equals, not equals, less than, greater than equals, sorted by. Don't see it. How do you Because we didn't see that in the examples. Right, so in the repo and examples, it's the same example. It seems like it really should be a one-shot, though. Oh, wait, am I an idiot? No. Yeah, refreshing. It's still hanging out there. And like, if I copy, go to a new tab and hit it, it's still there. I don't think my logic's right. If it's greater than 0, message, otherwise content empty. Why are you angry? What just happened? Oh, it needs to happen one of those. And maybe take that away. No. Wait, what? Why are you pissed? Messages. I keep doing that. Length 0. Submit. Length 2. Refresh. Length 2. Yeah, see, it's not clearing it. Like, it's not clearing the session state. Somehow, Rust, iter, empty. Creates an error that does nothing. Rust cannot convert it. Empty is empty. Let's see what happens if we do messages dot, nope. If let not box. Let's do the right thing first. These are going to be all the same things. None of which is like removing it. Yeah, these are all the same things in the doc. Like the doc's generating from this. Our position filter map, key, advance, partitioned, interspersed, reverse, assert key fold. I don't remember reverse in there. Let's just burn through these for another second. Format, clone. Nope. Okay, we're at the top. So how do you messages, session store, session manager layer, new session with secure false? We probably want that to be true. Actually, we don't want that to be true right now because I'm on localhost, which is on HTTP instead of HTTPS. So probably that doesn't need to be secure. Or probably has to not be secure. Session manager layer, messages manager layer, session layer. Clone, format, layer. Nothing in there. I don't know how to clear it. Metadata. Get hasher is empty into keys, remove, reserve, retain, values. None of these seem to be what I'm looking for. I want to try something here. Let do boop equals messages take one. Now it wants it to clone it because it's value moved after bar. Yeah, so I don't think that's gonna work either. Crap. How do you clear it? Rust, Axum, messages, clear messages. One-time notification messages, Axum messages. See, this says it's one-time notification, but like, that's not, unless I'm setting it again. Am I setting it? No, because it would only be setting in the post. And we're not redoing the post. Messages, right? So here's new bookmark, which is just reading. And here's new bookmark post, which is setting it. Oh, wait, does it have to actually do this? This is turning it into a string. Message level message. If I do this, is that going to get us there? New bookmark. There's our include things. Let's put this here. And then here, we're going to do this. And we're going to do is empty. Flip those. Firefox. Refresh. Went away. There it is. Refresh. Okay. So you have to actually do that into iter. I don't totally understand why that's the case. Like, it's taking it and it's turning it into a string, like by shadowing it. But somehow this process of going through it, because this is doing into iter, and then map and collect. I'm guessing this is what's doing the clearing of it somehow. Because this is just mapping, this is just collecting, this is just joining. So like it seems like it has to be that line. And it's really interesting to me that you can turn that into a string. But I guess when it turns into a string and it goes away, somehow that makes it fine. If we just do, whoops. Let messages equals to string, is that going to do the same thing? Or is that going to eat itself? Refresh, message goes here, refresh. Yeah, see, that doesn't clear it. So it seems like it's this into iter that happens. I don't understand what's happening there. Going back, boop. So there's a message. If I keep hitting submit, it keeps bouncing through the post. It keeps setting the message. As soon as I don't hit that and I hit Control R, or come to the page via the home page, it's not there until we add the thing. Okay, well that's how to do it. That's cool. Okay, I like this. Message is empty. Yeah, so collect back. Yeah, I don't want these as a string, but like I can do like a map on these I'm guessing to get something else. I'm thinking it's into iter. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm in pretty good shape with this. So this is going to be setting and clearing flash messages. Cool. All right. That's going to run it for now. Appreciate y'all hanging out. Hope you enjoyed this one. We'll do it again soon. Till next time, be kind, be cool, and we'll see you then. Cheers.